Maybe you want to go a little more this way. Maybe go back. All right.
Close the COVID comfort homes.
6 feet.
Feet, dog.
Maybe. Wait. All right. See, scoot just a little bit to your left, right there, and then you scoot a little bit to your right. That way. A little more. Perfect. That's perfect right there.
Right.
Marker.
Oh. And action. It's Cesar Mejia. I'm a engineer, producer, mixer, educator, all those good things.
Wonderful things.
Wonderful things.
I'm Mike Galuz. I'm a music sequencer, auto tuner, and I'm just kidding. Engineer, producer/producer. You know, you guys already know.
With artists such as Herbie Hancock, Pharrell, Terrace Martin, Danny Lozano. I'm trying to think. The list goes on and on. Zach De La Rocha. Man, you caught me off guard. I can't remember.
It's a big list.
It's a list, yeah. It's a pretty big list.
Will.i.am.
Yeah. Will.i.am.
There's photos.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian Eno. That's another one. Mike.
Oh yeah, same deal. A little more, I guess, current stuff. I've worked for a producer named Harmony Samuels, and that actually led to me being in the room with artists like Kehlani, Sierra, Ariana Grande, stuff like that. You know, kind of that pop-ish culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there for about 20 years, so I don't know if I necessarily thought I don't even think I think of myself as a teacher. I know I'm an instructor, but I mean, I'll talk about this for free. They just happen to be paying me to do it.
Right.
You know, so like in my career as a music technologist, whatever that may be, whether you're an engineer, a producer, whatever that is that I never saw education as a part of it, but I mean, it is most definitely something that I do, and I do love doing it, but to me it's not really teaching, it's more like sharing. It's like, you know, and sometimes I'm really passionate about it, so like I don't see it any other difference than like, you know, having to mix a record or record a band or anything like that. It's just part of that same thing. I mean, you guys know my classroom is a recording studio. I mean, like, I don't know many teachers who teach that other than maybe science teachers who their classroom is a lab. You know, same thing with us. That's kind of the way I see it.
I'm trying to remember when I started. It wasn't that. It's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Like 2014ish. So
yeah,
maybe about like 5 years or so.
Yeah.
I'm looking around because I don't know. I'm really bad with time.
I don't know either. I don't remember.
It literally went down. Caesar asked me if I wanted to do a class.
Yeah.
And it turned into that.
Yeah. And it's same thing. Yeah.
As far as the why, I get to hang out with this guy and you guys all day.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
talk music. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say you're only gonna get out what you put into it. I mean, like, you have to be passionate about it, because I can't. I'm just assuming, but I know there's students that come in like, oh, that sounds like a cool major. Yeah, you're in the wrong major if you think that. You know, because it's not about that. It's kind of like, it's like saying, oh man, I like to eat, so I should become a chef. You know, it's not. It's completely something different. So like, this is just like playing an instrument. It just happens to be a bigger instrument, you know. That's really what it is. So I think if you look at it in those terms, I think you're on the right path. If you think it's something that might be cool, then I would say take a couple classes and see if that's the right path. But I think you'll soon learn that it's not just a cool thing. It's much more than that. It becomes something you're really gonna, you know, when you get out of school, you're gonna know how hard it is to be in this industry. You know, that's when you really learn. I think we just teach you the basics of it so that you can try to survive in the industry.
I think that's the biggest thing is the stuff you're gonna get from these classes is a direct scenario of what goes on in industry.
Yeah.
Because we practice it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
The stuff you're learning is stuff taken directly from
our experiences.
Yeah.
You know.
From
Yeah.
label-funded sessions, etc.
Yeah.
Real-world experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we try to bring.
Yeah. Digital Media Arts program is a really unique recording arts program, because that's, at least for our side of it, right? I mean, we're much more than just a recording arts program. We all, you know, we're in the visual side too of it, but at least for the recording side of it, I know that it's really unique, because we're probably one of the few programs that can offer both the academic and the application part of it. It's in most schools it's either one or the other, you know. So I think that's kind of what the unique part of our program. We're probably some of a handful of professors that are that deep into the industry that are also teaching at an academic level like the way we are, you know. So that's the only thing I can really say that's unique about the program. You know, not that other programs don't offer something like this, but I think that's what sets us off apart is the personnel that we have there.
I just have to go back to that real world experience, man. Like everyone on the staff has worked in the industry or is working in the industry, right? And I think that's what a lot of, especially a lot of new people coming in, or new students looking to learn this trade, if you will. It's a little bit beyond that. It's more passion than
art,
trade, right? It's definitely an art form. Gaining that sort of learning those real world experiences, other than actually experiencing it after you guys graduate, which will happen, but learning from the people who are doing it is really crucial to this stuff. And also building essentially connections and networking.
Yeah, big time.
That's probably the biggest takeaways.
Yeah, I agree with that, 100%.
I was in a band at the time, so after class it was straight to practice. No, but honestly, just being in the major, and because think about it, the way it's structured is it's literally waves and groups, right? Yeah. So everyone becomes like a tight-knit group or wave, essentially, you know. Where and I think that's essentially building your own community. It's literally your own little community within the program, and really, you guys just work together, and you know the endless hours sleeping in the SSL room, right? Trying to do the sessions, trying to do the work, that's all part of the experience. So essentially, every specific cohort or wave is like a club. Yeah. And you know, obviously, there's there was stuff going on at the time. I think it was the Arms Club, I believe it was called.
It's what became their club now. Yeah.
Basically, what you guys are sort of undertaking now. You know, it started with all that.
The Arms Club was there when I was a student there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
See that I didn't.
It goes back even before me. I think it started sometime in the either late 80s or early 90s. But then eventually it just became nobody pays attention to that, so it just died. And then it wasn't until sometime in the early 2000s when it got revived as a DMA club again. You know, it went under a bunch of different names, but it essentially was the same thing.
Right. I mean, coming from not knowing anything about a studio, and then having to realize, oh man, we actually got to spend the night here, guys. To me, that was you know, and I loved my bed at the time, you know, at home, you know, at the crib. So that was just awkward for me. So I'll always remember those nights, especially during senior year when you know, come down to finally have to master the project. That was just no sleep. So I mean, and what's funny is that that actually translated when I started working in the industry. So you know, if you like your sleep, prepare to get a lot less of it, right? But you are working at the end of the day, so stay passionate about it. That's really what drove a lot of us, at least when I was a student, is man, I think I really want to do this, you know?
Hell yeah.
You know, and if it takes having to sleep at the studio and spending, you know, not going home for a couple of days to your family, I'm sure they're cool with it.
or leaving every day at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, you know, those, you know, that's how you have to be. That's why we tell people, I don't know what any other major that people are leaving school at 4 or 5 in the morning, or not leaving school at all.
Right.
You know, most majors, they go home and they go to sleep. You know, they're at home working. This is one major where it's not like that. It's there's an actual facility for the students to actually go in there and try to replicate those real world scenarios that you're gonna run into.
Yeah, I gotta admit, there's a few times where like I just wanted to sleep in my car overnight and go to Caesar's class like at like 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't end at school.
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely doesn't end at school.
If you're not passionate coming in, you will become passionate. And I think the biggest thing really is to just keep doing it. Like specifically with us, it's engineering, right? Do it every day, keep doing it. You will get way better at it the more you do it. And it's really you know, I don't want to say it's cliche, but you get what you put in.
Yeah,
100.
100%.
And with this art form,
yeah,
it's gonna take a lot of time to get to what you want to be, to get to where you want to be. So
big time.
Don't quit. Keep going. Like that's that's the conversation we have with all of our producer friends, all of our everybody. Like that's the number one thing. Keep it going, right?
Yeah.
Like
exactly. It's like that meme where that guy's digging and he stops and he's about to get the diamond, but he just happened to stop.
Right.
That's how this is.
Keep grinding.
Yeah, you gotta keep grinding all the way through.
Keep hustling, as they say.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, that's the end of my written questions, and I guess I'll just try to come up with some questions. So, Caesar, on your Instagram, I saw that you recorded with Josh once. How did that go?
Joshua McKendry?
Yes.
Oh, I've been doing that with that guy for years. So that's just a normal day for me. Yeah, he's come in and played on numerous sessions that I've had, and you know, usually you get the people that you know that can play and that are cool with you, and that's, you know, there's not much more to say than that it was great.
All right, here's another question. So, can you describe your average day working at the Shelter Studios?
Oh, shit. I mean, a lot of it, I mean, I don't know if it's, I mean, to me it's just coming in and seeing what the task is at hand, right? Like, whether I'm having to mix a record, or we're having to set up to do a session, or you know, like doing a class, right? Like all those, like those are all, to me, they're all part of the same game. So a lot of it is just is having a place that's flexible enough for us to be able to move directions in any way we want. I mean, this place is pretty, like, it's pretty well equipped, it's pretty well wired, that we can you know, go 180 degrees pretty easily here if we needed to. So I think a lot of that came from just not being able to do those things when I first built this place, you know. So I mean, a lot of it is just being prepared. I mean, a lot of it is just preparing, you know, like either when me and Mike are working or something, you know, Noel, you can't see, he's behind the camera right now, but it's usually, he's our assistant here, so it's just, hey, this is what we're doing, can you set it up? Sure. And it could be anything from just setting up a mic or setting up for a, you know, a session or whatever that is. That helps out a lot, you know. So a lot of it's just being prepared and having the facility to be able to facilitate something like that, which this place can do. I mean, it's small, but it can most definitely pack a punch here, you know. Day-to-day is a little bit different now because there's no, like, that direct interaction with the students, which could be a little weird sometimes, you know. Like, I'm not sure if it's just a Zoom thing where it feels like they're not getting it, or they really are not getting it, you know. So I mean, that's why I try to have like live classes where I can actually ask a question and I can get some sort of direct feedback off of it. The reality for me and Mike when the lockdown first started is that we didn't want to use Zoom because we knew the technical kind of limitations that Zoom has, you know, as far as audio, you know. So we actually had one of the students, actually the current students at the time, help us out with starting up a Twitch account, and that seemed to be pretty flawless, with the exception that there's a delay between the broadcast and the direct feedback that we're getting from the students. But overall, like, I mean, I had kind of been doing a little bit of that to some degree with doing like some like tutorials, and I had done a little bit of videos that I would upload to like our either Instagram account or our YouTube account. Very, very little of that, but it didn't feel that far removed from it, you know. So it is different, you know. It does affect things for sure. There's nothing like being in the studio with someone one-on-one. It's just there's nothing's ever gonna replace that. I mean, like, you know, will there be a new normal where we'll be having a lot more of this type of stuff going on? Oh, for sure. But I don't think it'll ever replace it, you know. I mean, that's just, you know, the human brain learns best when you're there, not through some remote technology, you know. Oh man, I would say, man, you know what? That we have to think we gotta think of ourselves as humans, you know, because that's why we're in this mess right now, dude. Because we're, you know, I love what I do, and this is all my life revolves around music, just like Mike and all that. This is around this music technology, right? This is what it revolves around. But the reality is that it's much more than that, you know. And I think if we as a human society don't start looking at ourselves that way, we're not gonna get. There might not be a music technology in 100 years, you know. So I think what we need to do is, as a human species, is to start being more proactive as being humans with each other, you know. I mean, this pandemic should show us that we can all get sick from each other because we're all humans, right? You know, I mean, our dog can get sick and they won't necessarily pass those viruses on to us, but as humans, this is showing that, hey, we're all connected. We live in one big bubble, and that's called Earth. And if we don't learn to do that, then all this positive stuff that we're doing is almost kind of like for nothing, you know. That's the way I see it. I mean, and I think that's what we need to do more in life, with not just this, but I think with everything, you know. I mean, that I don't know if we're learning that, though. At least it doesn't feel like that in this country that we're learning that, you know.
I feel like we just gotta be more responsible.
Yeah, 100%. We gotta be more responsible. I mean, like, you know, in this room, and I'm assuming in this meeting, I'm the only one with kids, so I see that and I go, man, you know, when I was growing up, I would think, man, if we're not careful, my grandkids are gonna live in a world. But the reality, it's my kids that are gonna be living in that world. You know, I never saw that when I was, you know, in my mid-20s, because I figured, maybe one day, you know, I'll have kids, you know, and I would think, oh man, you know, we gotta do something because, you know, or my grandkids or my great-grandkids are gonna be the ones suffering. But now I realize that no, it's that generation right next to me, you know, and I think we do most definitely need to be more responsible, and that goes with every single part, because what we do is a really positive thing. I mean, like we to some degree or another are involved in some sort of art form that provides happiness to the world, right? Mm-hmm. But if we're not if we're irresponsible with everything else, and this is it's all pointless, you know. But yeah, you're 100% right. We most definitely got to be responsible about it, more responsible.
I guess another question that's not as serious. Have you guys listened to any good music lately?
Who was I listening to earlier, Noel?
Is it Pantera?
No, I always listen to Pantera. What's that group that I found out from the Grammy thing?
Cigarettes After Sex?
Cigarettes After Sex.
Play the song.
That's. I don't think it's gonna play from here. Let's see. Is it playing from there?
You got the Bluetooth connected, RCA, and then.
All right, so I guess to bounce off that last question, is there like a record you guys listen to that you're like, damn, I just really want to make a record like that? Is there any record that stands out to you that's similar to that?
Cigarettes After Sex.
I was literally thinking that. Not just that. The Freddie Gibbs record, hip hop fans. Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist did a record recently, and that's just one of my favorite producers anyway. So anything that sounds like that is like the shit I want to do, because you know, I mean, we all do the trap shit.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like bringing in that like raw sound with the dirty, you already know, dirty drums and all that. That for me, I was like thinking the whole time I was listening to that record, I was like, I want to make this shit now. Like
Yeah.
versus the fucking. I don't want to say certain things are saturated, but they are. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, really cool record.
All right. So, just like as a closing note, so is there any kind of social media or websites or personal endeavors you guys want to promote?
Tag the shelter.
No, Shelter Instagram, Shelter Studios, Shelter Seas Instagram, Facebook, the Shelter Studios. That's all we got right now. We're working on other. I think there's a Twitter account out there that I probably lost.
Academy?
Oh yeah, and then we're also starting this. That's kind of been on for a while. It was we kind of put in the back burner as well. But the Shelter Academy is also a kind of like a workshop type of thing that we're trying to start. We have done a little bit of it, but like I said, it's been in the back burner. But all those things you might want to look up.